Welcome. If you're listening to this, chances are you care about staying active, or you've had a recent reminder of how quickly that can change, often due to pain. Most people don't see it coming. They're coping, carrying on, and doing what they've always done, until one ordinary moment becomes one step too far.
Welcome to the 3 Rules to Stay Active for Life. I'm Gavin Routledge, a lifestyle medicine professional, osteopath and author. And in this podcast, I'll share a few simple frameworks to help you suffer less pain and feel more confident about your current and future health. If I asked you to name the best thing you could do to protect your brain as you get older, what would you say? Most people would probably mention Sudoku, crosswords, Wordle, or some kind of brain training game. Now, while those things may have a role, the evidence increasingly points somewhere else. One of the most powerful things you can do for your brain may be to move your body. Dementia is a growing threat to independence. Here are some key facts. Around 1 million people in the UK are living with dementia now. And numbers are expected to rise substantially as the population ages. It is one of the biggest threats to long-term independence. And of course, it doesn't just affect memory, it affects decision-making, confidence, mobility, relationships, and quality of life. Now, like back pain, frailty, and metabolic syndrome we covered in the last episode, dementia does not generally arrive overnight. Risk accumulates slowly, probably over decades. And here's a really important point. Movement, even though I'm going to focus on it today, movement is not the whole story. There are other very important risk factors such as high blood pressure, hearing loss, diabetes, obesity, smoking, excess alcohol, depression, social isolation, poor sleep, head injury, and more. The Lancet Commission estimates that around 45% of dementia cases may be preventable or delayed through known risk factors and the reduction of those risk factors. And today I want to focus on the risk factor that sits closest to our mission at ActiveX, and that is physical activity. The brain is part of the body. Many people do think of the brain as a sort of separate bit, but the brain requires oxygen, it requires blood flow, it requires glucose regulation, and it requires healthy blood vessels. It responds to hormones and inflammatory chemicals. And ultimately, what's good for your heart is usually good for your brain. There are a number of different types of movement, of course. You could walk, you could cycle, you could go swimming, hiking, rowing. Whatever the physical activity, all of these will help to improve blood flow around your body, and as the brain is part of the body, it will help to improve blood flow to the brain. Fundamentally, movement improves vascular health. Movement reduces blood pressure. It improves what we call insulin sensitivity, which means the response of your cells to circulating insulin. Insulin is really important to help get glucose out of the blood and into the cells. And movement, physical activity, helps to improve the way insulin works. Movement reduces inflammation. Aerobic exercise is consistently associated with better cognitive function and lower dementia risk. And aerobic fitness doesn't just help you walk up hills, it helps keep your brain supplied with the fuel it needs. Now, here's another type of exercise, what's often known as higher intensity exercise. Now, this doesn't have to be what they call HIIT, high intensity interval training. It's just higher intensity. Okay, so HIIT is a subcategory of higher intensity exercise. When effort becomes harder, interesting things happen. Here's a bit of science for you. when you exercise more intensely, your muscles produce lactate. Now, lactate, often referred to as lactic acid, is a byproduct of aerobic metabolism. So we all produce lactate. And lactate results in an increase in something called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Now, neurotrophic means it helps nerves to grow and is found in the brain, hence the term brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or shortened to BDNF. So, lactate helps to increase BDNF, and this promotes what we call neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the mechanism that underlies learning and adaptation. And, of course, memory. Lactate is now understood to be more than a waste product. It appears to act as a fuel source, helping to support that triggering of BDNF. It's a signaling molecule. It's a messenger that's sent between muscles and the brain. So the burn that you feel in your muscles may be sending useful signals to your brain. Here's another type of movement: strength training. Many people think strength training is just about their muscles, but it is, again, much bigger than that. Strength training, of course, helps to preserve the amount of muscle that you have. It preserves what we call muscle mass, but it also improves glucose regulation, and we've covered this in a previous episode. And I refer back to this episode where I was talking about insulin sensitivity, glucose regulation. They're kind of the same thing. So strength training also supports long-term metabolic health. It reduces frailty. So resistance training is increasingly associated with improvements in cognitive function in older adults. Remember this one: muscle is not just a movement organ, it is a brain protection organ. Okay, fourth type of movement: games with skill and coordination. Now, the thing is that not all movement challenges the brain equally. If you are going to the gym and working in what we call a uniplanar, so one planar, so the classic exercise, let's say squatting. So your feet are not moving, you're not moving sideways, you're not rotating, you're trying to stay nice and stable in the center. And as such, yes, you can help to strengthen your muscles, but you're not challenging your brain in the same way that, for instance, tennis does, or indeed table tennis, pickleball, dancing, martial arts, where you're moving in a combination of movements. Generally team sports, again, you're reacting to what's going on around you. So they require reaction, timing, prediction, decision-making. Ultimately, you need to adapt to what's happening around you. And your brain loves movement most when movement asks it a question. Of course, many of these activities also provide social interaction, which we know is super important for cognitive function. They are fundamentally enjoyable. It's a game at the end of the day, so it can be good fun. And they have a purpose. It's kind of goal-driven. And all of these are important factors in healthy aging. So the key message here is we're not talking about just simply exercise for exercise's sake. The goal is to build your capacity, building a body and a brain that you can trust to keep you independent. And the thing is that the same things that help you keep you active for life may also help keep your brain active for life. Bringing this back to the cliff of pain, remember, is also the cliff of health. The habits that push you away from pain, frailty, diabetes often push you away from dementia too. Now, we don't know exactly which step protects your brain the most, but we know that standing still is rarely the answer. Your brain does not stand still, much like your body. It is either getting stronger or weaker over time. Here's the thing, rather than just asking yourself, am I exercising enough? You could say, am I giving my brain enough different types of movement? So just to recap, those 4 brain-friendly movement categories were aerobic activity, strength training, higher intensity exercise, and activities that require skill, balance, or coordination. There we have it. Okay, I shall speak to you soon. If today's episode sparked a shift in how you think about your body or your health, don't try to change everything at once. Choose one small action this week, something that nudges you towards staying active rather than avoiding discomfort. That's how confidence is rebuilt. You'll find further episodes exploring the 3 rules and the habits that matter most, not by doing more, but by doing things better. This program is provided for general information only and should not be taken as medical advice. If you have persistent or worsening symptoms, please seek appropriate medical guidance.